Hello, my name is Shabir and this is my video presentation for assignment 4. I'll start by opening a casework family template. I'm in the front view and I'll begin creating reference planes. I'm offsetting these reference planes by 15 millimeters using the pick line tools. Now I'm using the DI command to dimension and lock the planes so they stay constrained. Then I'll create a parameter called frame thickness to control the frame size, and I'll assign this to the dimensioned planes. Great. Next, I'm going to use the extrusion command and I'll be creating an extrusion for the cabinet frame and constraining it to the reference planes so that it remains parametric. I will use the pick tool command to select the planes and then use the trim command to create a closed rectangle. And that's the last one, and that is done. And now we have a solid object. Great. Now in the right view, what we're going to do is we're going to lock the extrusion to that back reference plane. And next we will flex what we've done so far just to make sure everything's working, and that looks good. So that's great. Next, I'm going to create the back panel using another extrusion aligned with the frame. And we'll set that to 15 millimeters as well. And go to the front and we just change it to shadow, and we can see that that's correct. Now we go to the next step, and the next step will be to create a 5 millimeter gap at the front of the panel where we will put the front panel, and we'll label that reference plane panel and lock it using a dimension. So switching to the front view, I set the work plane to the panel and I create that front extrusion. So I'll pick the lines, and this is going to be flush with the outside for everything except for the bottom. And now the cabinet is enclosed, and you'll see there's a gap. And next I'm just going to flex this to make sure that everything is working as expected. And that looks good. And so now I'm going to create more reference planes, and this is going to be actually for controlling the handle locations. So we'll set it to 50 millimeters as an offset for the position of the handles consistently. So to do that, we're going to dimension that 50 millimeters. And that looks good. And now I'm going to load a family. So this is like a nested family in essence. And we're going to use a handle that I created previously. I'm going to select 120 mil wide, and I'm going to create 4 of those. So, and this is to have them placed vertically and horizontally, and then what I'll do is I will lock those to those reference planes. and that looks good. And there we have the 4 handles. So next I'm going to create visibility parameters, and I'm going to make those instance parameters. And these will basically control the orientation and the configuration within the project of those handles. And so here I created that, but I just realized that I've actually set it as a type parameter, so I'm actually going to need to go back and fix those shortly. In the meantime, I'm just assigning the parameters to each of those handles, just verifying I have that correct. Okay, so now I'm just going to select all of the surfaces, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a material parameter. I'm going to do that just to give me some flexibility when I use it within the project. But what I'll do is I'll actually give it a default material. So I'm looking at a few wood materials, and I think I will select oak for this. White oak, I think, would be the way to go. It's just the default, but I'll add a few others in there as well if we want to look at that as an alternative. And so that's done, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a couple of default cabinets. I'm defining 3 standard widths: 300, 600, and 900 millimeters. And depth will always be the same. That's generally how it works with these cabinets, and height will keep at the moment at 900. Great. So we have 2 there right now, and I'm going to create that third one. Just make that 300, and we should be good. Excellent. Okay, so now that we've got a fully configured family, I'm going to save that into my project folder, and that should be ready to use. So now that I've saved that, I'm going to close everything out, and I'm actually going to create a new project, which I can then load this family into. So I'll just create a little wall just to provide a reference. And then I'm going to select to insert and load that family that I created earlier. Great. So that's now available within the families, and I can just go to casework, and within that you see the 3 default ones. So I'm just going to actually add all 3 of them, and we can see how that works. So yeah, we have the 3, and if we just change it to realistic, yep, you can see the colors, and we should be able to now select the orientation for each of those for the handles. And I just remembered I have to go and fix that, change it to an instance parameter, because I think, yep, so that needs to be changed to an instance parameter. So does the other 3 as well. Okay, perfect. So I'll need to just save that again and load that back into the project, overwrite the existing with the parameters, and now I should be able to select, and I should see options to pick the orientation and configuration of the handle. So for the 300, it makes sense to have it vertically, and For the 600, we'll also have it set to the left side, and for the last one, we'll just put it on the right. Great. And here I'm just going to demonstrate changing the cabinet material. I'm going to change it to, I guess, mahogany. That's just to prove that you're able to change that thanks to that parameter. Yeah, and that works. And thank you very much.